Wondered what would happen if, for just 3 days, to yourself differently, if you treated every word you whispered inwardly as if it were a command shaping your destiny? People go through life unconsciously repeating phrases of defeat. I can't. I'm not good enough. This will never work. And yet, if you could pause, shift the language within, and direct it with intention, you would begin to witness a remarkable transformation, not in years, but in mere days. The mind is like fertile soil. It accepts whatever seeds are planted in it. Seeds are words of strength or whispers of limitation. For 3 days, speak to yourself as though the future you desire is already unfolding. I am capable. I am aligned. I am moving toward success. Say, my life bends toward abundance, and everything is working for me. The first time, feel unnatural. The second time, it may feel like imagination. But by the third day, you will notice a subtle shift. The heaviness inside lightens, lose their grip, and the invisible energy around you begins to move. This is not a matter of chance, but of law. Words become thought, becomes feeling, and feeling attracts experience. For 3 days, guard your tongue and your mind. Refuse to tell yourself stories of failure or lack. Speak like one who already possesses what they desire. Tell yourself, I am chosen. I am guided. I am strong. In this repetition, conscious begins to accept a new truth. And once it accepts, life has no choice but to mirror it back to you. You speak to yourself, shape the reality you live in. Every sentence you repeat in the quiet, mind builds the framework of your life. If you continually tell yourself you are weak, life will bring you experiences that prove your weakness. If you declare to yourself that you are capable and worthy, life will mirror that belief back to you through opportunities, connections, and strength. Most people underestimate the power of inner speech, dismissing it as mere thoughts that come and go, but the truth is that what you whisper inside is far more powerful than what you shout outside. It is not the starting point, it is the result. The starting point is always within, in the words you tell yourself day after day, moment after moment. Think for a moment about the conversations you have with yourself each day. Some are unconscious, flowing automatically from old habits, past disappointments, and the voices of others that you allow to take root in your mind. You might say to yourself, get a break, or nothing ever works out for me. These phrases, though spoken silently, carry energy. They are not empty. Instructions that your subconscious mind accepts as truth, and the subconscious has no filter. It does not argue, it obeys. When you speak words of defeat or limitation, you are giving permission for your life to unfold in alignment with that belief. So many people feel stuck. They are trapped, not by outside forces, but by their own inner dialogue. But here is the miracle: you can change it. With the same power that created struggle, you can create success. By altering the words you speak to yourself, you can alter the conditions of your life. If you wake up tomorrow and begin to say, I am favored, life opens doors for me. All the strength I need, you may not notice a lightning bolt striking the sky, but inside, the soil of your mind begins to shift. New seeds are being planted. The more often you repeat them, the deeper their roots grow, and soon has no choice but to produce the harvest of those words. The reality you live in today is a reflection of the words you believed yesterday. If you don't like the story you are living, then you must rewrite the language you use with yourself. Your self-talk is like a compass, directs your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. Tell yourself often enough that you are unlucky, and you will walk with slumped shoulders to opportunities. Tell yourself that you are chosen, and your head will rise, your vision will clear, you once missed will suddenly appear in plain sight. The world bends to the frequency of your words because they are not just sounds, they are vibrations, and those vibrations shape the environment around you. The beauty of this truth is its simplicity. You don't need wealth to begin. You don't need recognition. You don't even need permission. Is the decision to shift your language. What you say to yourself in the privacy of your mind matters more than what anyone else says about you. Critics, the doubters, the naysayers, none of their voices have the power to define you unless you allow them to echo inside your own mind. The greatest act of power is to silence those voices and replace them with your own deliberate, empowering words. So start today. Begin with one phrase that reflects the life you desire. Say it to yourself when you rise, when you walk, when you rest at night. Repeat it until it becomes natural, until it becomes the rhythm of your thoughts. Understand this, your words are not idle. They are alive, they are seeds. Speak with intention, and watch as your world rearranges itself to match the language you chose to believe. Uplifting self-talk plants seeds in the subconscious mind. The subconscious is like a silent partner, always listening, always recording, taking instruction from the words you feed it. Unlike the conscious mind that questions and analyzes, conscious doesn't debate. It simply accepts whatever you repeat, with feeling becomes impressed upon it. Pressed must eventually be expressed. This is why repetition is such a powerful force. One thought spoken once may not move much. Spoken again and again begins to carve a path, just like water flowing over stone. Over time, the repetition transforms the landscape of the mind, shaping your beliefs, shaping your habits, and shaping your life. Think of a garden. If you plant a single seed and never water it, it dries up and disappears. If you plant a seed and tend it daily, it grows roots, sprouts leaves, and eventually becomes a tree that no storm can easily uproot. The subconscious mind works in the same way. A single positive phrase spoken once may feel weak against years of negative self-talk. When you repeat that phrase over and over, day after day, it grows stronger. Soon it becomes a belief, and once a belief is established in the subconscious, the law of your life, you no longer just hope for it. You expect it, and expectation draws it to you. People don't realize that they are already repeating affirmations every single day. Unfortunately, those affirmations are often destructive. Unlucky. I never succeed. Nothing changes for me. These phrases, repeated again and again, form a deep groove in the subconscious. Life faithfully produces circumstances that confirm those beliefs. But when you make the conscious choice to shift the repetition toward uplifting words, take control of the narrative. Saying, I am capable. I am worthy. My life is moving in the right direction. May feel strange at first, but through repetition, the subconscious begins to embrace it as truth. The old voice will resist. The mind will argue, this isn't real. Pretending. But remember, the subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. It simply accepts what you repeat with persistence. This is why athletes, performers, and great leaders rehearse, not just physically, but mentally. Affirm and speak success into themselves until it feels inevitable. Through repetition, the impossible becomes believable. Believable eventually becomes achievable. Consider the power of hearing the same uplifting statement for 3 days, 7 days, or 30 days. Begin to sink below the surface of your conscious awareness, working quietly like roots spreading underground. You may not see results immediately. Something unseen is taking place. Doubts lose their strength. Confidence grows in spaces where fear once lived. Your energy changes. Notice it even before you do. You begin to act differently because your inner story has changed. And when your actions shift, cannot remain the same. Repetition is the rhythm that rewrites your destiny. Just as a song becomes unforgettable when played over and over, talk becomes your reality when repeated consistently. Every time you say, I am strong, you strengthen the roots of strength. You say, I attract opportunities. You prepare your mind to recognize them when they appear. Life cannot help but align with the song you sing within yourself. The more you repeat it, the louder it becomes until the old limiting voices are drowned out completely. So never underestimate the power of repetition. One day of uplifting self-talk is a spark. Days of it create a flame that cannot be extinguished. Speak life into yourself again and again. Subconscious has no choice but to accept it. And once it does, the life you long for will begin to take form, not by chance, but by the law of repetition that plants seeds in the soil of your being. Your inner dialogue determines your emotions, and emotions drive your results. You speak inwardly creates a ripple in your emotional state, and that state dictates how you act, how you decide, and how you show up in life. Inner dialogue is filled with discouragement. The emotions you carry will be heavy. Fear, doubt, insecurity drain your energy and cloud your vision. You hesitate when opportunities appear. You shrink back when challenges rise, mirrors your hesitation by withholding the very things you desire. On the other hand, when your inner dialogue is infused with faith, hope, assurance, the emotions that arise are strong. Confidence, peace, expectancy. These emotions energize your actions, sharpen your decisions, doors that once seemed closed. Think of a day when you woke up telling yourself, "I can't handle this. Today will be difficult." That inner dialogue immediately set the tone for your emotions. You likely carried tension in your body, a lack of enthusiasm, and everything that happened seemed to confirm your expectation. Inconveniences felt overwhelming because the emotion born of your self-talk colored your perception. Now think of a day when you told yourself this: "Everything is working for me." That inner dialogue lifted your emotions, and suddenly the same kinds of challenges appeared smaller, easier to handle. Your energy was different, your posture was stronger, and solutions seemed to flow more naturally. The events may have been similar, were not, because your emotions, born of your self-talk, shape the way you experience them. Emotions are not random, they are created, moment by moment, by the words you choose inside. And those emotions are not passive, they are fuel. They fuel the choices you make, the risks you take, persistence you bring to your goals. Someone whose inner dialogue is, "I am destined to fail," will not even attempt the opportunities that could change their life. But someone whose inner dialogue is, "Away," will step forward, try again, and persist until they succeed. The difference between the two is not luck or intelligence. It is emotion shaped by words. Is why guarding your inner dialogue is one of the most powerful practices you can adopt. When you consciously choose words of strength and possibility, creating emotions that support your success, you are building a reservoir of confidence and resilience that carries you through challenges. Talk is like poison that drains the spirit, while positive self-talk is like nourishment that strengthens it. When you say, your emotions respond with courage. When you say, "I am unworthy," your emotions respond with fear. The emotion you feed will determine the actions you take and the results you live with. It's important to understand that emotions are not isolated feelings. They are signals to the universe. A mind filled with words of gratitude radiates emotions of joy, and joy attracts more experiences to be grateful for. With words of despair radiates emotions of defeat, and defeat attracts more reasons to feel hopeless. Never just thinking. You are creating vibrations that call experiences into your life. That creation begins with inner dialogue, flows into emotion, and manifests into results. If you want to change your results, you must change the emotions that fuel them. If you want to change your emotions, change the words you speak to yourself. The chain is unbreakable dialogue, emotion, result. Speak words of peace, and you will live in peace. Speak words of victory, and you will walk in victory. The reality you long for is not far from you. It is waiting for the right emotions to call it forth. Those emotions are born from the dialogue you carry inside. For just 3 days, consistent self-talk can begin to dissolve doubt and fear. It takes years to start seeing change. Transformation begins the moment you decide to speak differently to yourself. And fear may have lived inside you for a long time, fed by the stories you've repeated and the disappointments you've replayed, but they are not permanent. They are only the echoes of past words. The beauty of the mind is that it can be renewed at any moment. 3 days of disciplined self-talk is enough to begin breaking the hold of those old echoes. The key is consistency. Speaking the same words of strength, peace, and assurance again and again until the new pattern takes root. Imagine for 3 days you rise in the morning and instead of saying, you say, "This day is filled with favor, and I am ready for it." Imagine during moments of stress, muttering, "I can't handle this." You declare, "I am equipped with wisdom and strength to handle all things." Imagine at night, instead of replaying your failures, you whisper, "My life is unfolding beautifully. Tomorrow brings me closer to my desires." These simple shifts may feel small, but repeated for 3 days to chip away at the old walls of fear. Fear is sustained by repetition. Doubt is fueled by constant replay. They feel so powerful is because you've been feeding them with words for so long. When you refuse to speak their language and instead feed faith and courage, their grip weakens. 3 days may not erase a lifetime of negative talk, but 3 days is enough to begin the reversal, to weaken the old patterns and strengthen the new ones. You will notice it in subtle ways. Your shoulders will feel lighter, your mind calmer, look brighter. The world around you may look the same, but within you something will have shifted. Subconscious mind responds quickly to new instructions when they are consistent. It doesn't require grand speeches or dramatic declarations. It requires persistence. Whisper to yourself with faith for 3 days, and your subconscious begins to accept it as real. Once it accepts it, once your emotions shift, your actions shift. And when your actions shift, your results cannot remain the same. The hidden power of a short, focused practice. It begins a chain reaction that extends far beyond those 3 days. Easy to underestimate 3 days. It may seem too short to matter. Much damage 3 days of fear can do. 3 days of telling yourself you are unworthy, 3 days of repeating that nothing will work out. If negativity can bring you down in such a short span, then positivity can lift you up in the same way. The difference is in what you choose to repeat. Powerless. With consistent self-talk, you are programming your mind for faith instead of fear, confidence instead of doubt, not in theory, but in practice. For 3 days, guard every word you say to yourself. Replace the old phrases with new ones. When fear rises, with courage. When doubt whispers, speak louder with faith. The change will not be dramatic fireworks, will be a quiet, but undeniable shift within you. And once that shift begins, it will grow stronger each day you continue the practice. Will lose its power. Fear will lose its voice. And in their place, you will discover the steady assurance that your words are shaping a brighter, stronger, more victorious you. When your inner language changes, the outer world must respond in alignment. You experience is not separate from your inner state. It is a mirror reflecting the beliefs, emotions, and words you carry within. Circumstance you encounter, every opportunity you attract, every barrier you face is colored by the language you speak to yourself day after day. Words are filled with lack, you will notice only shortage. If your words are filled with strength, you will recognize doors where others see walls. Life has a way of arranging itself around the vibration of your self-talk, and when you shift that vibration, the world cannot remain the same. How you interpret events. If you tell yourself, "Nothing ever works for me," even when an opportunity appears, dismiss it as temporary or too good to be true. You'll sabotage it with hesitation or fear because your inner language has already written the script. But if you tell yourself, "Everything is working in my favor," then even a setback appears as a stepping stone. You lean into it with faith. Instead of retreating with doubt, that posture attracts solutions instead of problems. The outer event might be identical, but your inner language reshapes its meaning. The meaning determines your response. In this way, you are never a passive observer of life. You are an active creator. The outer world is pliable, more flexible than most people believe. Opportunities, connections, and resources flow to those who expect them. And expectation is born from inner language. They tells themselves, I am unlucky. Walks past open doors without seeing them. Another person repeating, opportunities, notices those same doors and steps through them. The difference is not chance. It is alignment. Words prepared one to recognize what the other ignored. When you change your language, the world must reconfigure to match it. You no longer interact with life the same way. You speak differently, you walk differently, you decide differently. Sends out ripples that touch everything around you. People respond to you with more respect because you speak with more confidence, more quickly because you approach them with more clarity. Even your body responds. Stress decreases, energy rises, improves, because the words you feed your mind filter into every cell. The shift is not mystical, it is the natural law of cause and effect, the words and the effect. The life follows. The truth is, listens to yourself. Talk more than it listens to your prayers or wishes. You may ask for abundance, but if your daily language is, never have enough, then abundance cannot find its way to you. You may long for love, but if you tell yourself, I am unworthy, you will block the very relationships you crave. Your consistent inner language carries more weight than fleeting desires. It speaks with authority to your subconscious, and the subconscious directs your reality. So, if you want your outer life to shift, begin with the words you whisper within. Stop cursing your life with language of failure, and bless it instead with words of possibility. You are guided, and guidance will appear. Tell yourself you are prosperous, and prosperity will find its way. Tell yourself you are strong, strength will rise within you. Your inner language is the script, and the outer world is only the stage. Once the script changes, cannot remain the same. This is the power, given to you the power to shape your experience, not by demanding the world to change, by commanding yourself to speak differently. When you master your inner words, you master your reality. And as your inner language transforms, will bend, align, and reflect the new story you have chosen to believe. Everything comes down to the words you choose to live with. Empty sounds or passing thoughts. They are the blueprint of your life. For 3 days, if you dare to discipline your self-talk, discover that doubt weakens, fear dissolves, and confidence rises. You will realize that repetition is not just habit, it is creation. Emotions will shift, your decisions will align, and the outer world will begin to reflect the inner transformation you have birthed. The voice within you is the most constant companion you will ever have. If that voice speaks defeat, your life will echo defeat. If that voice speaks victory, will echo victory. You are not waiting on the world to change. The world is waiting on you to change your language. 3 days of deliberate words can begin a chain reaction that reshapes your destiny. Speak to yourself as if you are already the person you dream of becoming. Declare strength, affirm abundance, and choose peace. Your words as you would guard treasure, for they are treasures. They hold the power to create. And as you do, you will see that your inner language is not only your private dialogue, it is the force that commands life itself to bend in your favor.